on so we can.
Right.
I want to officially thank everyone for taking time out of their Sunday afternoon to join us for this July meeting, our halfway meeting for the African American Jazz Caucus General Board and General Session. Um, Today, what we're going to do, the agenda is to just hear from the different committees to see where we are, give kind of an official report as to where we are getting ready for the Gen conference and getting ready for this next phase so that we can collectively see if there's anything we need to be doing specifically to support the various committees, or if there's anything that we need to add on to the initiatives for what needs to happen. Ianthea, did you want to say anything before I started heading down committee rows?
No, other
Okay.
than, the bylaws has finished the bylaws, and hopefully, we can vote those in, not necessarily tonight, but I think you're going to be sending out a link for them. And I think that's a great start. And I'm thanking all the committee members, especially the chairs, for chairing all of those committees. Because without them, it would be us to make it happen. And I'm looking forward to, oh, that's what I wanted. The PBI HBCU. We'll talk about it later. But I do have some suggestions from Jose Diaz that we can share with them to reach out. And if we all can reach out to different ones so they can be a part, or at least apply for the spotlight, that'd be great. That's about it.
Okay, that sounds great. Thanks so much, Ianthea. And for the record, um, for those that are not aware, both Ianthea and Roxanne's position as interim president, interim vice president, is coming to a close and transition. So we still need a president, someone to serve as president, and someone to serve as vice president for the full term. So I need you all on this panel and everybody that's going to be watching this later that couldn't make it, that has already sent me a message, to go ahead and reach out to your colleagues that you may think may be someone that would be interested in being president or vice president or secretary actually. Treasurer is the only office that remains. Brian Perez is going to, Dr. Brian is going to continue in that role as he has been before. So that's just a note, and we'll send that out again when we send the message to the members, because obviously the person who would be holding the office would also be a member. So when we send that private message email to the members only, where we're asking them to approve the bylaws and also just reinstate Brian, there will be a section on that form to say, kind of fill in, is there someone that you'd like to nominate or see in that position? I know we're all busy. They say you want something done, you ask the busiest person you know. So
I have
it's always hard to commit to these types of situations. However, um,
Shanice, I have a question for you.
yes,
Can somebody nominate themselves?
absolutely.
Okay,
So
great.
someone can absolutely nominate themselves. All right. And ideally, we'll be able to vote the new board in at the, oh my goodness, I forgot to call Larry Ridley. I,
Oh,
you know,
wow.
so Larry, in the, our season folks have a hard time getting online, and I was supposed to call him to help him get online. So, anybody
Mm.
got Larry Ridley? Okay, don't worry about it. All right. Um, I'll call him in a second. So what I want to do, anyways, I was just getting to finish that statement, is saying that we will vote on hopefully president, vice president, secretary at the January um, conference business meeting. All right. So that's going to be our goal for making sure that we engage who we need to engage to make sure that those positions are filled. Now, I'd like to, because we have Paul Baxter here, I'd like to go straight to the database presentation, and I am going to make sure that you are a co-host so you can share your screen if you need to. How about that?
Okay.
Just realized you may need that. Okay.
Right. Let me
As a database chair, I'll introduce to you. I don't know if everybody was here for Paul's last presentation, but Paul is he is the one who's writing the code for the database, and he's going to show us where we are now. Um, the actual pages of the database are um, being built, and it looks like we should be able to have this for the Gen meeting. So I turn it over to Paul to show us what he has for us. Mr. B.
All right. So hello, everybody.
Hello.
I'm going to give you an update on where we are. Let me just flip over to show you share screen. There we go. So last time we went over the overall view of what we're going to do with the site, and I'm going to zoom out a little bit here so you can see. If we were to picture the entire website, it looks something like this. Which isn't particularly useful. I'm just going to point out that this section here that I'm drawing, let's get rid of those noodles. There, this area where the blue box is surrounding more or less, that part is currently being worked on and completed. And then as I proceed, I'll continue to build out these other pages. So we're actually dealing with the finished, what will be eventually the finished pages rather than these mock-ups, and it's just going to creep along piece by piece. Now I'll take you to the actual website, but I think I have to stop sharing and then bounce back in. Let's do it that way. There we go. Okay, so this is the real website rather than the mock-up, and I'm just going to put in my dummy account here. All right. Nope, don't save the password. And this will be the home page that will be built out eventually with more options for administrative powers that we'll want to put for people. Right now, I'm really working on getting the search pages up and running. These will be our simple search for institutions, and we will have more detailed information brought in over time and figure out exactly what the language will be. I'm going to head back home for a moment. There's also our advanced search where you can find individuals and institutions. Here we go. And right now, the big focus for me is to get the individual database completed, because without that, nobody can really join up. Nobody can actually become a client. I have to sort of hard code myself in there to have an account. So right now, if you look, we have some sort of dummy profiles that will come up for search results. And then you can see there will be profile information that the person will enter and be able to maintain on their own behalf. And then it'll be searchable by other people who have access to the database. I go back home. So that's basically the small section that I've got actually being built. And with each page, the code that's written behind each page makes it easier for me to write the next page. So it sort of grows exponentially. The earlier pages are always the more difficult ones because you have to do all of this initial base work before you can make that first page. But that's the current state of things. Any questions so far?
Yeah, I have a question, Paul. Thank you very much again for, spearheading this and doing the work on this. Now, where will this live? Like, where where will we be building this site, and how will we be linking it?
So currently the site exists on my professional server so that I can just go in and mess around with it. What I'd like to do is I'd like to finish, let me see if I can switch back to the other one. Let me go back and bring this back up.
And I just want to give everyone, because there's a couple of new people here that might not be familiar with this initiative. So we're creating a database, an AAJC database that will hold institutions, per people, and what other characteristic in mind? People, institutions, community groups, as a
Yeah.
way to get a hold of each other. You know, one of the things that this initiative is fixing, or should I say addressing, was the issue of jobs coming up or people being in certain areas of the country and not knowing where people are. So wanting to be able to say, okay, I'm going to be in Mississippi. So, you know, let me go in this database and see who is there. Or I'm looking for someone to be a clinician at this particular, let me find out who is available. So one of the initiatives that we were having, the newest initiative for the organization, is this level of trying to be connected, is building this network so that we are kind of the central location, the central place, the central database, and this information would be available for members. So go ahead, Paul.
Yeah, no, that's excellent description, and I'd say that currently it lives on my professional server, but what I'd like to do is, when can I do that? Oh, there we go. When I finish all of these blue pages, I don't know if you can see this line, it's probably too fine there, but when I finish all of the blue stuff, not this orange stuff down here, that's the administrator level stuff. Once that's complete, I'd like to make the shift, do a big sort of rewrite of it, clean up all the code, move it over to the AAJC servers. And at that point, we may actually have information. With this blue part of the page complete, non-administrators, standard people will be able to actually access data. If they want to update something, I would have to put it in manually until that orange yellow part is complete. But that means we could start testing it with people. It wouldn't be available to the public, but we could definitely have members of the group here trying to enter information or send us information to put it in and build it. I'd like to do that sometime around mid-September. And then I'd like to have the site finished, or at least finished to the point where there might be a couple of media features that are not included, but stuff that we can update along the way by mid-December. Because I think after mid-December, then the holidays happen, it gets very hard to move. And then you guys have a big conference that it would be useful to have this done early January. So that's the big plan.
I have one question, something I forgot to ask you when we had our last powwow. So we're going to need, on the administration end, as people become members, we would enter their name and then invite them in. And then I guess it must be boilerplate, that kind of thing where you go to log in, but you don't have a thing yet, and you get an email, and then you go in and make your password and you finish building your profile.
Pretty much. Either that or you'll build the whole profile, but you won't be able to access it until you confirm your email. One of those two answers, whichever makes the most sense. But we definitely want to confirm that someone's email is legit so we can communicate with them.
Absolutely. Anyway, it's one of those things we're going to start discussing in committee, is how we manage working with the membership committee and getting members properly installed. Anyway, thank you.
As we reach the end of this blue period in this blue section of the site, where I have a pretty strong idea of how the average user should be able to interact with the site, there will be questions of how the site should react policy-wise, who's in charge, who has control of what, who can block something or hide something or change something. And just about anything's on the table, but we'll have to really define what that is so that I can tell the computer how to do it. And that's where that orange part comes in. The good thing is, even if for whatever reason you guys hadn't decided or there was some holdup or whatever, so long as the blue part is done, it's something that we can start to demonstrate to other people. It just means that any updates or any new people will have to be done manually through someone, which we kind of want to avoid, or we want to make it as streamlined as possible for someone who's an administrator. Just say, yes, check off that person can come in, rather than actually having to enter the data themselves.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions?
So you're pretty confident that we'll be able to do a test run by January, by the conference, which is usually about the second week, beginning of second week, first week
No,
of
it's the first
January.
week this year.
Is it the first week this year?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I think if we hit the mid-September deadline and the blue stuff is complete, then I think it's by mid-December we should be done.
Just not talking,
Okay,
discussing.
great.
Yeah.
So,
That's okay.
and then the last thing I want to ask is, will we need to rebuild? I guess what I'm asking is, do we need to rebuild the AAJC website using more of like a WordPress, or are we just going to just build the database as a separate website and then just link it as another page?
It would be built as a separate website. It would
Okay,
be built.
good. That's what
Yeah.
I was figuring. I just wanted to, make sure that and that's totally fine.
Oh yeah, no, and
So
that'll
you-
be easier for people to maintain and manage long term anyway.
Okay.
So you're going to build it as a separate website, not link it to the existing website.
Well, link in the sense that there could be a button in the existing website that says,
Okay.
take a look at the database and you'll log in. But
Right.
in the sense that the login credentials will be different. I don't have access. If there's login credentials like name and password and stuff, the
Mhm.
ones for this database have nothing to do with the ones for that website. So in that
Right.
sense, they're very separate.
Okay.
Right. The other thing is you've got people that are filling out the applications and they're giving us all this information. So people need to be aware when they're filling out the information, if they want to be on the database, that this information will be public.
Right. So one of the
So-
things we had discussed this one before too. So there's two things about that. One, at some point we are tiptoeing. When it becomes public, we do have to have the legal documents done,
Right.
the terms of
Correct.
service and all that. But the other thing is I have in our profile the ability to control certain pieces of information, name, email address, sure, but we can also make it so that I have the whole profile, but I'm only sharing these few pieces of information,
Correct.
right?
Correct. And that's why when we get the applications, I'm really particular about who's shared on the Google Drive with the applications that come in, because I want people to be comfortable with what information is coming in and where it's being shared, especially the levels that are being supported or donated, and all the phone numbers and such that are being shared with us.
Well, that's where I was thinking we might go for, when you become a member, you would have your basic profile on the database, but that profile would only be your name and probably your email and your status as a member. And then you are invited to come in and flesh the rest of it out, and then click on what can be seen and what is just there that only the administrators would be able to see, or however that's going to be managed, how much of it is publicly available.
In fact, if we want to set it up that way, if you'd like, in fact, the administrators have to have this power anyway. One could have a button on your profile that says, I want to be private. So if you search for my name, it simply won't appear in the results, but I can still log in the site and search for others. That's something that you'll have to think about if you want to offer that to people, if people wouldn't abuse that and then it's kind of a ghost town, or if you think that's a good feature to have. But we need to have that feature thinking long term. And I doubt that you're going to get a lot of people using a Jazz database to do things that are nefarious. But if someone writes something inappropriate, an administrator should be able to hide the account without destroying it. So that feature has to be there. We can just give that to the user themselves if we like.
Yeah, and we had initially, Mary, I think before you joined the database committee, we had discussed these things, Don and Trinice and Paul and I. So but it's good to bring them up. But I mean, these are things that are kind of in the large program. I have to say to you, Mary, excuse me, I sent out an email that was supposed to go to you, and it went to a different Mary. And in August, we need to start having meetings of our little committee, our database committee, but I'll resend that to you and we can work that out.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Paul Baxter, and thank you so much, Paul Combs. And if anyone wants to also participate on the database committee, reach out to Paul Combs.
Right.
Next, can we hear from the HBCU PBI Spotlight?
Okay.
So first again, for people that are not familiar, the HBCU PBI Spotlight is a spot within the GEN program and within the GEN conference that the AAJC has the opportunity to spotlight a historically Black college or university or a predominantly Black institution. This could be college or high school level of some organization that we want to be able to, in essence, spotlight. So each year, for like the past, I guess, 4 years now, we have spotlighted several institutions, both at the college and community level. So this year, Reginald Lewis is the chair, and I believe Roxanne is going to talk on his behalf. Yes.
Okay. Okay, so this is the first time that we've done an application process. Is usually we find a great organization and ask them to perform for the spotlight.
That's
So
a
this
member.
year-
We usually
right,
go by
that is a member.
that is
right, that
a
is
paid member, right?
All right, this time we decided that we'd like to give everybody an opportunity to apply for it. So we just got the application, it's up and running. And as of today, we didn't have any applicants. However, you know, we know that people are trying to determine what they have post-pandemic because of all the things that's going on. People are not sure what they have to offer, and they don't want to commit to doing something in January, not knowing what they have available. So even with that in mind, we do still have some organizations that we're considering that are in proximity to Dallas. So, and who are predominantly Black performers, institutions who are also members of GEN. So we expect to have more inquiries as soon as school starts, at least after they've met with their students for a while. So I think this is great progress that we're able to do it this way, because we can always pick someone and put them there, but it's just great that people will now have an option to applying for GEN, and this time applying through the Spotlight. So that was our report. Any questions about that? Now, if you have anyone that you think would be interested in performing, or any organization, and I actually spoke with Russell Thomas, who retired from Jackson State, and then Johnny Hubbard is interim, but they have a new professor coming in to the fall, because I was looking at my map and I said, oh, they're only 5 hours. So, you know, just looking at the different schools and but of course, nobody knows what they have yet. So we're going to reach out to everybody and see what's happening. So I think it's going to be great.
Do we have a timeline in terms of a deadline? Like how far do we think we're going to need to go? And I'm only asking from the standpoint of the GEN publications. Go ahead, Mary.
I actually talked to
Sharon?
Sharon about that, and I have to check back to my notes, but I think for print and everything, they need like November. So double check with her on that, or I can do that, but I think it's like November.
It might even be earlier than that.
But that-
No, I
in order to get into the, I think it might even be October. So we usually try to get everything done. I mean, at least in the past years, you know.
Yeah.
Well, some of the things have been delayed a little bit. I know that people are just now being notified that they've been accepted to the GEN conference, you know, to perform. So, but even if we have to give them a person in October, I think we'll have time, because people will meet in August around September, you know, whether you have something representative. And then we can also offer the option of, if your organization is good, but you don't think you can pull together maybe 45 minutes, maybe if you can pull together 20, 25 minutes, and then we can use one locally and maybe do a big band and a combo. But, you know, as long as we have a great organization spotlighted at that event, I think it's going to be fine. So once schools, we are putting out more feelers now. So once schools are back in session and they're done with marching band camp, I think everybody will have a better idea of who they have, who returned to school, and, you know, what their organization is going to look like.
All right, awesome, awesome. Thanks, Roxanne.
Okay.
The next committee, is Leroy here? Leroy, you want to
Yes,
talk
I'm
about the steering committee?
Yes, I don't know if I can share with you all the logic model. If I go to Google Docs, if you let me, if you share your screen, are you shared with me?
I'm about to make you co-host so you can share.
Okay, then maybe I can show you the logic model. And at the meeting we had last week, you asked me, or we talked about putting names of committees to the different objectives. I think Rosalind and Anathea had asked me about that. Ayathea had asked me about that, and we've been working on it. So I've got that done so far, but it's open for people to chip in and make some comments. And Paul, I sent you a couple of things. I don't know if you saw those messages I tried to get to you today.
I did. I clicked on one of them. I didn't have time.
Okay, not a big deal.
I clicked on one and I had to send you a request for access. Somehow it wouldn't let me get on, even logging in as African American Jazz Caucus.
Okay, I sent you a second one trying to fix that problem. But anyway, I'm having a little bit of trouble making my way around Google Docs, but I'm working on that. But let me see if I can share my screen. I'll go to Google Docs and you all will be able to see the logic model that we have so far. I'm going to minimize everything else and see if I can get to Google Docs here.
Let's see. It's still asking me for access. All right.
I do not see my Google Docs coming up. It's Google coming up. Let's see. I hope I don't lose you, but I'm going to try and get to Google Docs.
No problem.
Okay, maybe I'm almost there, I think. Drive. Okay. So pages 2 and 3 are the ones that I'm referring to. So we have our objectives, and that should be probably objective / committees or something like that. But beneath that, that's just a caption. Beneath that are committee bylaws and governance. And of course, you already covered the bylaws.
Anthea, are you sharing your screen yet?
Yes, you don't see it?
No, I still see.
Oh, hold on, let's see.
Mhm.
Share with people in groups, it says.
So you would do that from your Zoom screen? From your Zoom screen, you would push that green button at the bottom that says share screen, and then you'll see the Google Doc come up because it's already up, and then you'll select that and then you'll hit share, and then we'll all be able to see it.
Okay, because I had to get out of, I have Zoom minimized right now just to get to this Google Docs. So I need to go back to the Zoom screen.
Yeah.
And work from that.
Leroy, are you referring to that shared document that we have? The one that had the objectives?
Yes, I sent it to you. I sent it to all of you. I think all of the committee heads and Trinice and Anathea today. Ayathea, I sent that to you earlier today.
All right. So whatever you sent today, I was not able to open.
Okay.
However, I do have the document that we put together before.
But
I
that's a
think
little bit
what-
dated now.
I think what the big thing that we wanted to make sure happened is that with the strategic plan committee, there are so many things that we got together to determine what needs to happen. And each one of those objectives need to go to the committee chairs. So I think that was a big idea. So there's a big plan for the kind of things that we think needs to happen for membership. And that should go to the membership committee. So that was our last conversation. And we'll make sure we get that document together because we don't want to, prolong the meeting because it's already
Right,
35.
right.
We're
Well,
okay, Leroy, and
right.
because he
Well,
did a really great job on that. And
Anthea sent me, what do I want to say about that? Anthea sent me the list of committee chairs, and I tried to tailor, to put into that column on the objectives and goals, those names. Although the one that I see is missing still, Paul is Paul, even though his activity is listed as far as the database stuff is concerned. But I can get back with him at some point and we can figure out which of those activities or goals he wants to be part of achieving.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Leroy. I appreciate your work on this. Marvin, can we talk about the marketing committee or publicity committee on marketing, publicity?
Okay, yes, we can. And so I wrote this on the Google Doc, but I'm just going to read it. I'm not going to even go through it. So these are some of the points that I thought up and some of the points that were brought up during our joint meeting. And our need to utilize social media and improve the presence of AAJC. It's kind of interesting, and I will say this to myself, and I actually, right before the meeting, went to the AAJC Facebook page, and there's nothing about the meeting on there. And so I think that,
Yeah, there is.
no, I just went there and I didn't see, like a link on the AAJC Facebook page.
Yeah, Ianthea's videos on there. And
No, what I
there's
mean, no, I'm not saying I mean, like, that the meeting that we're having a membership meeting today and.
Yes,
things
it
like
is. I'm
that.
looking at it right
Yes,
now,
it is.
July 11th,
Yes, there
2021,
is.
8 p.m.
there's two
I
there's
just shared
two
my screen
posts
to
on
show
there.
you. And it
Well,
says
I don't
meeting
know.
Zoom
I don't
link.
know why when I looked at it, I didn't see it. That's kind of
There's two posts on there, but I'll agree with you that the Facebook page
It's right
is
here.
not.
AAJC
That's-
meeting information.
That's the website, not the Facebook page.
Oh, Facebook, my bad.
I'll show you the Facebook page. But the
Go to
Facebook
Facebook
page is
page.
very underutilized, and I just got access to it 2 days ago.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, I was just looking
But
at
you're
it.
so that is one of the things too we would talk about is that needing someone that can really handle Facebook and to get that information put out, because I know Anthea put it in on the website, and she also posted a video on the website. And yes, it
Well,
would
I
be
wanna
nice
give-
if someone.
I want
Go
to say
ahead,
Paul actually did that. I
Oh,
just did the
Paul,
video.
yeah.
Paul did it.
Right.
Yeah.
Anthea did it. Paul put it up there. And so now it's just a matter of because in Marvin, you do a lot of Facebook, posts.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do a lot of, and it's kind of interesting because people might think I live on there. I don't actually live on there. I just like some moments when I'm not doing something else, then I'll get on there and I'll do something. I'll see certain things and I'll post it on the AJC if it's something about, Black music or something, that's important. And I put it on there. I might put it on mine as well. But, and I think somebody is putting a chat that they're happy to help with the Facebook page. That's what we need to do is have, people volunteer to be on there so we can really have a presence on that and also Instagram. Because the thing is that Yes, I go to Facebook more than I go to the AAJC website. I only go to the AAJC website when I have to do it, you know, and so I think that that's what we have to do. And another thing we talked about is defining the benefits of joining AAJC. You know, we really have to, and I know when I was looking at the Facebook page, I was looking at the history, and the history is great, but there's so much stuff in the history that I won't even read that. I mean, I know what it is. You know, we got to somehow streamline, you know, what it is, what our mission statement is, you know, when I go to my friends that are just, you know, that are players, they might be educated, but they're players. But why should you be in AAJC? You know, it's kind of interesting. I can't tell them the reason that I'm in it. You know, I'm in it because I was kind of, you know, brought into it by, you know, Mr. Mead and Larry Ridley. And so it's almost like the musicians union. I was thinking about this the other day. Like I've been in the musicians union 30 years, you know, but people who aren't in it, I can't think of a way, you know, the main reason I tell them why you can be in it is that they don't get you gigs, but if there are certain gigs that happen that you have to be in the union, then you get a chance to be in it. So I think that that's something that we have to really sit down and define and have some committee meetings, you know, membership. You know, Mary, I was looking at your email. You said I might not have gotten it, but I think I did get it, but I'm already a member. I think I'm one of those automatic renew people. You know, I think Trinice got me on that several years ago, and mine just goes through automatic renew. So it's interesting, Mary, I didn't answer your email because I'm already a member, you know, and so I think that that's something that we have to think about. And another point, define the benefits to jazz musicians who are not a part of the academic community. You know, what are going to be some of the benefits? I know I'm giving questions and I could give answers. There's some that I'm thinking about too. You know, what's the benefit to the regular cast that play? That are not, you know, educated. I mean, they might teach somebody on the side, but they don't have academic positions, you know. And then also the jazz musicians who are a part of the academic world. We've got a lot of people that are, you know, jazz musicians, part of the academic world, and they're not a part of AAJC. Or if we think about, what was that number we said about that there's about 25 or 26, 30 paying members, and it's 140 people or something like that. Wasn't that, it was some kind
On
of
the
figure
mailing
like
list,
that?
right? Like there's more
Well,
people.
There's
there's-
100, there's some duplicate addresses, but I would say there's at least 160 people who receive the mailings, and maybe a little more. We got 185 altogether, but some of those are duplicate addresses.
Well, you know that a lot of people really only pay the dues when they come to the conference, you know, and we didn't have a conference last year, so it's kind of hard to gauge who's an active member. So the conference this year, I think, will give us a better idea. And especially we put out, you know, hey, you guys pay your dues. But I'm with Marvin. Marvin, if maybe with your committee or something to kind of come up with the list of, you know, some of the benefits of being a part of AAJC, you know, well, you get a reduced price for the conference for Jen. You do get a reduction in your price, you know, so that's one benefit, yeah. And then you also assist in making sure that some predominantly Black institutions are spotlighted at this event. And then you talked about the meet and greet and just being able to make that connection. So, and even now, if we're doing things or not doing enough things, then that can also be something that you discover as you go through it and give us ideas on how to do more things.
And I would
that
also
benefit, you know, so people would see the benefit of the organization.
So Diane, hi Diane. Sorry, I just saw in the chat that Marvin should be happy to
Hey,
help
how
you
are
with your committee also, and Alyssa will help. So if you want to can reach out to both of those or vice versa. Add to your committee, and hopefully, let's say by October, when we have the mid-year, the quarter meeting for, hopefully you guys will have had a chance to, go ahead, Marvin, you're about to say something? I'm sorry. I was cutting you off.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm not finished. I'm sorry. And I'll get this quicker. So, point is encourage members to share their accomplishments, programs, gigs, so we can publicize them on our social media and website. See, that's the thing that we have to put out. We have to, the thing is that it's a whole lot of people that are not going to pay $900, don't want to pay $900 for a hotel and pay, $300 for a flight or drive. They're not going to be going to gym. So, along with, yes, we do have gym and we're connected with that, but we need to find a way that can reach them, and we can do that through social media, that we can reach them and do that. And so, my last point is the membership and the market committee, we need to develop a relationship. We need to work together to come up with some of these different points. And I think that for us to have some joint meetings to be able to do that. And then last but not least, it's got to be a way that you all can make this recording available so we can go back and look at it, and
Actually, every meeting that we have is recorded and on the website.
it's on the website.
Yeah,
Yes.
right on the
Go to the website
homepage.
as a member.
Okay.
Yes.
Not for
Yes.
even non-members. So,
Yes.
but
Okay.
so what will be awesome is that, again, by the October meeting, by the fourth quarter meeting, if you will, the third quarter meeting, that the marketing committee have some distinct initiatives, distinct plans. Like, this is what we're going to do. This is what we've done. This is what we're going to do. I love the brainstorming, and I love that we're thinking along these directions of what needs to happen. And so I think the next step is to make sure that we have it implemented, so that by the time we get to, especially for October, because that's when all publicity, all marketing needs to be at its highest point right before we start the conference, so that everyone is well informed of not only what's going on at the conference, but who's around and who's doing stuff. So I think that's great. And I know, this year is crazy. So I am just grateful for everyone, all of the chairs that is really picking up the load and trying to create a system where one didn't exist before. So thank you so much, Marvin. I appreciate it. Can we let's go to the membership, actually. Mary, this would be a good segue. We were just talking about membership.
Yeah. Thank you, Marvin. Those are great ideas. Thank you. I'm sorry we haven't been able to connect. And the membership committee is Stephen Foster, who's on the line, and Dwayne Sanders and I, and we have met about 4 times up until now. We've had some great ideas that we are really looking forward to sharing with all of you. And if we can collaborate and share those with the marketing and publicity committee, I think we can really move forward. And Stephen Foster has some great ideas and some connections that he has made. He's got some incentives that he has been sitting on to use at the convention for us that I think you guys will be really excited about. He's got a photo that he and Trinice actually picked up at the New Orleans conference.
Yes.
That he
Can you
wants
hear
to
me?
use. I can.
Yes.
And I'm going to let you tell them about that, and then I'll get back to some of the things that we have already got in place, which includes
Sure.
Facebook and Instagram, that I'll tell you guys about, and hopefully some of you have. And I know I see people on here that are already friends with us on Facebook. We've already got a lot of people on Facebook and the Instagram. So go ahead, Stephen, and tell us about that photo.
Sure. Oh, the photo, and well, let me start with the first thing I wanted to mention. I was really impressed by the comment that was made last week concerning not, and I think Marvin brought it up again about reaching out to jazz musicians that maybe not, that are not in education. And I was able to successfully make contact with a young man, a gentleman that is a childhood friend of mine. His profile is real simple. He's a U.S. postal worker that plays the saxophone, extremely talented saxophonist, jazz saxophonist in Dallas, Texas, who knows everybody almost. Okay, so he was excited after my conversation with him this evening. He is going to be diligently working towards getting people. I think he even gave me a number of about 20 people he can guarantee will be at the conference on January the
You all see that?
5th to sign up for the AAJC membership. He has a lot of great contacts. He actually, we were talking last week, I recall about the art gallery or something, Trinice, getting a,
Yeah.
do you recall that? Yes. Well, this guy actually personally knows the contact people over there. He actually last week played a performance for them. And so he's just going to be a great resource. And I'm looking forward to him coming in. And he also wants to also join the Gen Conference and just become a full-fledged member of the whole, just take the whole package. And getting to the photo real quick. This is something that came to me by accident. Actually, I'm in this photo I'm about to describe to you. In 1998 in New Orleans, there was a gathering of about 300 artists, visual artists, musicians, the Marcellus family, the Neville family, all the great arts, Harold Batiste, as you know, the late Harold Batiste, formerly with Sonny and Cher. Just a great combination. We all met in the center of Congo Square, and there was a photographer that was commissioned to take one great shot of all of you. And the poster is called A Great Day in New Orleans. It's sort of like a spinoff from A Great Day in Harlem, but it's signed by all of the. It's just a very attractive poster. It's a historic poster, and I was able to acquire quite a few of them. And I had a conversation with Mary and Trinice about how we could possibly use these as an incentive during the registration at the conference. I'm going to bring quite a few of them, bring a nice bundle of them, and we can maybe, I mean, we just need to think about this, and I'd like for everybody to be thinking about how we would utilize this poster. Do we give them to the first 20 members or 30 members, you know, just how we would utilize these posters. I think they retailed at the Ashe Community Center for something like $20 a piece, but I was able to get them for a lot less than that price. So I will be bringing those, and we'll be able to use those in some form or fashion during the membership drive at the conference.
Thank you so much, Brother Stephen. Go ahead, Mary. I want you to go ahead and finish as we have a couple of more.
And then we already have the Facebook page, which has been set up for quite a while. And Marvin, if you and your team take over that would be great. We just tried to get it going and picked up a little bit till we could get a marketing team, a true marketing team to take it over. Let me stop sharing here. Stop sharing this. If I can share my. How do I share this part with you? Sorry. Oh. Home. Sorry, I'm sharing the admin page with you right now. I want to share the posts with you. Oh. Oops. Sorry. Okay, can you see that?
Did you hit the share screen?
Yeah, can you see it now?
No, who's seeing you?
Oh, hello, how are you? There we go. Sure.
Hey,
There you go.
while you're setting that up, I just have a question. I went
Okay.
to the Facebook page,
Mhm.
and I liked it, but I don't see how I can get to be able to post anything. It would be nice when we put out a newsletter if I could post that there, or I guess if somebody else will post it for me, that's fine, but I'm happy to take care of that.
And this is something real quick for the marketing people and not just marketing people, but for everyone to help with social media in general. That the way social media works is that even though, like, for example, the AAJC might have 1,000 likes or 1,000 people that kind of subscribe to the page, it doesn't actually, when we post stuff, go to all of those people. We have
Right.
to engage intentionally. We have to write 3 or more words and say, this is great. I'm looking forward to this, in order for Facebook to realize, oh, people like this, people are engaging. Let's send it to some more people. Let's
Right.
send it to some more. So it's not just enough to post, but you have to like, you have to comment. That goes for Instagram, and for Instagram, you need to save a post. All of those different things that we have to work together to boost our page.
That's why you want to tag people or tag, that's why we need people that know what they're doing on these social media and marketing. And that's why I said I just got it started. I put Ianthea's video on here, and it's very hard to post onto Instagram. And I have started a linked tree. Right now, our Instagram is linked to my Instagram, which, Trinice, I needed to talk to you about that. I need your login for Instagram so that I can link the two, so that it will immediately post over to our Facebook, because the Facebook is on your Facebook. And that's something else that Marvin, we can talk about, because if we could actually link the Facebook and the Instagram to our GoDaddy, that would be better. So anyway, right now we do have that on here. So it was on here once, and then it was on here. I just made a real quick one before I got to the YouTube video, before she put the video up, and I just put a real quick little something. Of course, we put something up about Susan that Trinice did right away, which was wonderful. Thank you, Trinice, for doing that right away. And
we
then
have
I
to
just
say something to our students too. You know what I mean? Like, get them involved, because they tag all the time. You know,
Oh, yes.
if yeah.
A million
If we
other
can
things
just,
that we could be
yeah.
doing here. The other day on Instagram, I saw a wonderful post that I would like to share, but I want to talk to you guys about how you want to start doing this. So I just did a little something here. So, I mean, 14 people reached there. That's nothing. We need to be getting many more engagements, many more. But there was something about how a HBCU student graduates, and it was a step piece, and it was fabulous. It'd been great to share, but I didn't, because I want you guys to decide how you want that done. So Marvin, when you take this over, it'll go just skyrocket. It's going to be much better than me doing it. So anyway,
you all have a lot of faith in me, you know, I mean.
Well, I think working together, and Alyssa, I saw you said you want to help out too. I think when we all get together and make a plan, this is just going to skyrocket. I'm really excited about this. But we had Dwayne Sanders wants to engage the high school and the middle school, and we want to talk about a student program and getting a membership for the high school and the students, and getting the schools and a membership for all the schools, and then getting mentorship involved. So we really want to grow from there. So membership would like to collaborate with marketing, membership would like to collaborate with mentorship, and let's go from here. So I'll stop now and tell you, yes, we
Yeah.
really want to start talking to all of you.
There was one other thing, and I wasn't sure who to send it to because we had talked about this, and I did check on it. I had promised I would. Organizations can be on LinkedIn, not just
Oh,
individuals.
yes, my daughter was telling me about that. I should say one more thing, but go ahead, Paul, are you finished?
Well, that's it. I just want to make sure that I've looked it up and there it is. Yes, and your daughter knew it too.
Yeah, she's 25, so she knows things like that. And she just got out of college a couple of years ago. And so I should say, almost everybody in attendance here tonight is a paid member. There's a couple of you that I've noticed on here I don't have on my list for paid members. We need to get more organized, just like Jen is, that they actually have a company that does this for them. Of course, they're bigger than we are. We'll get there. This, again, I'm going to say it just like when we started out, it's the year that didn't exist. You guys have always done this at convention. I've worked the last 6 months to try and bring a database up to help catch up. Like Marvin said, he's on the renewal. That made it easier for him. We've talked about going to once a year so that everybody gets onto the same track. That might make it easier so that
And
we're
once a
not-
year, meaning that the time
January
is
1st?
January 1st is for everybody's day. Like it's instead of you renewing
A
whenever you
rolling.
pay, and
Yeah.
like a rolling thing. That was so.
Yep. So we've got a couple committee members that committee chairs that actually are not current on their pays. We've got
on
a
their dues.
couple of board members that still need to catch up. So yeah, it's not perfect, but it's everybody. Just because we don't have an app or we don't
An
have
automated
it.
system that says,
Automated
"Hey,
system.
let me book you some more," right?
Yeah.
And to let you know, those of you, when you pay your dues and everything, I mean, we do a lot for the no money that we really have, because the meet and greet is a big deal. And just trying this year, we'd like to have more than just a room. We went from meeting in the hallway, as Trinice reminds us, to actually having a room donated by Jen. But we like to have hors d'oeuvres and things like that at the hang
Right.
card after the performance for our participants, for the students that are there, and anybody else that would like to be mentored or to meet somebody that is doing the kind of thing that they like to do. Also, with for the performances, we can't bring anybody down, but you don't get paid to do Jen either, and you have to pay all of your own expenses. But it would be nice if we could offer something to some people as they come through. But all of that comes with money, of course. So
Nobody's paid at Jen. Nobody.
Right.
No, not even none of the techs. Nobody's paid at Jen.
Yeah. all
So does anybody have any
volunteers.
questions about how to pay your membership? I tried to make it as simple. I went on the website and made everything as simple as possible. You pay by PayPal, but you don't have to use PayPal. You hit that button, you can use a credit card and pay. You don't have to use PayPal per se. And you don't have to fill out an application if you've already given us all your information. You can just send it, send your money. If I need information from you, I'll get it. I'll ask you for it. Okay.
Awesome.
Somebody's in the waiting room.
Thank you so much, Mary. I truly, truly appreciate all of your effort and your work, not just with the membership, just with everything that you've done, especially during the time that I was sick. So I just want to formally thank you and show
Whatever
my
I can do.
appreciation. Is Lenora. Lenora, do you want to talk about the griot?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I had asked Marvin to help me because he is on the committee as well, and kind of was the the head honcho and like discussing and talking to our appointee. We're really excited about. So Marvin, are you still there?
Yep, I'm still here. Okay, I'll go on.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm in a hotel room in New York trying to be quiet.
Oh, okay. So this year was really special for me as I brought up this suggestion because this is a person that I've known since late 70s, 80s, and have watched their career skyrocket as I develop, actually together watch each other's careers as we move forward. And she is someone who is an incredible musician, someone who's an incredible educator, and someone who is always has been in the forefront of education. As like I said before, I watched her career as I watched my own career. And that's our own Roxanne Stevenson, who is the recipient of the 2021 Jazz Griot Award. So we're so happy
Whoop,
to
whoop.
have selected her. So let's give her a big whoop whoop.
Awesome.
We have to unmute so we can clap.
Yeah, right. So we'll formally get everything together for that and make sure that that's even something that's publicized up until that point. All right. Awesome. 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 Thank you as always. Robert, are you doing the mentorship on behalf of Jacques?
I am, yes. We didn't really get a chance to connect this week as far as the the presentation for the actual convention. But I just wanted to reiterate, like the ability for us to do this, not just at the convention, but all year. And I think doing things via Zoom can be a great vehicle for us. And I also was checking into like security things and things with regard to dealing with minors. I'm at University of Michigan. We have our own system in place, so I'm trying to find some universal things that how we can CYA and not be exposed on some of these things, so everybody can have like a safety protocol and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm still looking into that. And I just want to also agree with Marvin. I think a few people have said it, but like to reach out to people that are outside of the academic community, as far as mentorship, and I think that can be like a wonderful thing. How to really get this going, as a full time, because it's like I said before, mentorship is not a master class. It's not a lesson. It's a way of life. It's a way of it's a connection that's about more than music, and it's a life thing and a lifestyle thing. So yeah, we just need to connect, I think, with everybody, with mentorship and membership and all of those components to come together. So I was teaching our summer program last week, so I was a little bit behind the beats, some of these things. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that, and
Okay.
that's all I got. I'm sorry.
No, awesome. No, that's great. Marvin, you was going to say something?
Yeah, I just want to make a one point, because I kind of just down. Jock made a good point about getting mentors from each region, and that there are people in every city around the country that run jam sessions. And that is, that's the way I grew up. I mean, if I didn't go to the jam sessions, Chicago in Hyde Park on 53rd Street at the Valhalla, when there would be 7 drummers all waiting to play, and different people but there's some of those elders, those are the people that we have to, reach out to. Again, as I was saying, to look at people who are not in the academic arena, but actually, and some of them are, in some cases, maybe teach. I know here, I think about a guy named Al Campbell, great bass player. They run a jam session. He does a summer workshop. He works as an educator. He's not a part of AAJC. And he should be a part of that. So I think that's another point that, about the mentors. And the same thing about, I think another thing we mentioned that a lot of times in these mentoring sessions, there should be an overseer, that somebody that is watching. We shouldn't just be blind in some of these different situations. There should be somebody that should be trolling it. And we have to always think about who's going to be a mentor. I think that's an important point, to invite somebody that's going to represent AAJC. We should know before we ask them to be a part of it that they're not going to be cursing, they're not going to be going crazy, they're not going to be drunk when they're on the screen. We have to be able to make sure that we weed out that. So those are some of the points that I wanted to bring up that we had said before.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I think that is all of the committees. Well, I was trying to make it no more than an hour and 15 minutes. And we are right in that. Were there any other questions or concerns? I think my biggest challenge for everyone, well, first of all, I just want to thank everyone on the screen and everyone that's not on the screen that's on the committee list for stepping up. I was laughing with Mary not too long ago saying, we went from a party of one to a party of like 20. So now the new problem is, how do we connect all the dots? So this is a great problem to have, and it's a great place to be growing from. So I think now what I really want to make sure that we're shifting into is being a group of saying, all right, this is what we're doing. This is what I need help doing, versus, moving from the past of, hey, let's come together and talk about a bunch of ideas. I'm like, we got plenty of ideas. We need implementation to happen so that we can really move forward and do so in a strategic manner. So now that we've kind of said, all right, this is what we've been doing for the last 6 months, it would be awesome if we could come up with some really definitive targets as to say, we're going to have this done by our October meeting, and this will be implemented either at Gen or outside of Gen by January. And particularly if, certain things that we've kind of discussed around, like, for example, if the membership for everyone will just start on January 1st, if we're going to start following a calendar year and making that our fiscal year, maybe that is our strategic planning year. You know what I mean? So just so that we can start putting some definitive dates around things so that we can continue to see growth in organization. I am just so thankful. I cannot say that enough. I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful. I am so grateful for everyone, just stepping up and making this stuff happen. I know sometimes it seems a little bit chaotic. I know sometimes you have all of these different heads going all over the place and not feeling like, but trust me, that's a good problem to have. It's a good problem to have. And now we just know what needs to happen in terms of making sure that we get together. So all to the chairs, thank you. And I continue to encourage you to connect with your committee members, so that, again, that in our October meeting, you're saying, this is what we're doing. This is what the problem was. This is what we're doing. I look forward to seeing you all in October and in Jen. Mary, you have something before we jump out?
Yeah, I do. So are we not voting on the new membership, the new people until next time now?
Correct. So what will
Okay.
happen, I'm glad you're just reiterating that so I can clarify that.
Yes.
So what's going to happen is all the paid members will receive an email that will include the bylaws, will include like a link to the bylaws, but it will also include a Google form. And on that Google form, you'll be asked basically 4 questions. It really won't be 4. It's really one question of do you approve the bylaws, yes or no? The second question will be about voting in or writing in nominations for officers. So we are still looking for president, vice president, secretary for the organization. So on that Google form, it will have spots for those people, and it will also say, yes, I'm going to vote in treasurer. Again, Dr. Perez will stay on as the treasurer, so you'll just be, in essence, reenacting his position. So that is something that I want you all to know that it's coming. And if you do not see it, please check your spam, because it will probably come through MailChimp. Right? Are we doing that through MailChimp, or are we doing it straight through Gmail, Mary?
Let's just do it straight through Gmail.
That sounds like a
Yeah,
plan.
straight through Gmail, and it'll come from
The
African American Jazz Caucus, AAJC.
Good.
And if you're not getting emails from me, I don't have the right email address, so let me know, okay? And that should come by the middle of probably by the end of this month. Okay, I would say we should be able to get that right. Do you agree with that? Just nod your head.
I do.
Okay. So that should
So
come
you would
from me.
like
Yes,
for
Russell?
people to put their email address in the chat now?
No, I have them all. Unless I think I have everybody's email addresses. No, I
think
have
Russell,
everybody's.
did yours change? Russell Thomas, did your email address change?
Yes, it did.
Okay, put it in the chat then,
but
Russell, and I'll
still-
get it.
Just to be
but
safe.
still, but yeah, still, if you sent it to my university email address, I still check that. I still have that, but I have not.
Okay.
I have not received anything, my personal email nor my former
Right.
university email.
So put
Russell,
that
can
in
you
the
put that in the
chat.
chat?
But normally, in the past, I'm glad this let me say this, I'm glad this is going on, because this has opened my eyes to a lot of things too. Normally, I've always paid my dues at the conference, and that's when they are asked for. That's the only time that the dues, are you going to pay your dues when at the first meeting? You
Yes,
get the
sir.
form for the dues, and that's when I would pay my dues. But like throughout the year, after that, after the conference, I don't hear anything else. I haven't heard anything. I don't hear anything. So in order to keep reminding me about what's going on with the organization, and this is what has happened, this is what's going on.
Dr. Thomas?
Yeah.
I suspect that the things that come through MailChimp get dumped into spam automatically from your place of work. So I will make sure that your personal email is listed in there so that you will at least be getting the quarterly newsletters. And I'll when I have your email, I'll get in touch with you personally, and if there are any further problems, we'll get them sorted out.
Yep.
Okay.
One thing I learned from running nonprofits and working with schools, there's nothing changes more than servers with school districts, whether it's collegiate or a high school, middle school, school districts, because they change servers all the time. They go by whatever's cheapest, or they just, people change positions. So we're constantly changing, and they change it from dot this to this dot. So if something changes, please, we don't usually, African American Jazz Caucus at gmail.com. You can send that to us and we'll change it. And if we need to send it to your personal and your work, we'll double dip and send it to both if you want us to, but let us know that, okay? And we'll do that. So drop, Dr. Thomas, if you would drop that Gmail into the chat right now, please, sir.
Okay.
We'll get that to
Tell
you.
me the Gmail again.
African American Jazz Caucus at gmail.com.
What were you going to say, Paul?
Just one last thing. When we talked a couple of days ago, I didn't have the plan for the remaining year for the newsletters. I'm looking to September 15th to publish, and again, December 15th to publish. I have an idea who I want for a member profile, but I'll take care of that privately with that person. But it would be nice if anybody has an exemplary student for me to talk to and write up a profile to keep that thing going. And of course, any committee people who have things that they want to put in the
I'd like
in the
to put
newsletter.
in, I'd like to
Send
put
'em.
in something for, no, not for the student, but for Suzanne. I would like for us to
Oh,
be able
definitely.
to honor Suzanne as a board
Absolutely.
member.
Yeah,
Do we need to
in
send
that next one.
flowers. We need to send flowers or something too.
Paul, I would love to
Plant,
Or
flowers,
just
plants.
whatever.
spotlight a
Plant.
student.
wait a minute.
Can
Lenore
you hear
has
me?
somebody. Yeah,
Hello?
go ahead, Lenore.
I'd like to spotlight the student, Jawan Davidson. He was selected as the Recording Academy HBCU scholarship student and to receive $10,000.
Okay,
Beautiful.
Sounds
why
good.
don't you
Email.
email that information to me, and I will
Okay.
reach out and interview the student.
Okay.
Awesome.
Good, great, thank
Any-
you.
Is that all? Thank you so much, everyone. As always, this recording will be available on the website. Once it downloads, I always will attach the link, and it will just be a button. You can review it. The next meeting date is already also on the website. Sorry, it must be 9:30. I'm hungry. My brain is like, stop working now.
Both on the homepage, right in the front.
Yep,
All right.
October 3rd.
October 3rd. And October 3rd will be another committee reports where, again, we're looking for those definitive action reports. So thank you so much. Your time is precious. Your screen time is precious. Your Sunday is precious. And I appreciate it that you guys are spending it with us to make this organization move forward. All right, everyone. I'll see you later. God bless.
Bye. And thank you,
Bye.
Ianthea, for stepping
Thank
in.
you.
Be safe. Be safe.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Bye.
Yeah.